Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2021 sequel film to the 2018 sequel film, Halloween Kills. So this is the third film in this new timeline, first being 1978 Halloween, then there's 2018 Halloween, and now there's 2021 Halloween Kills. And then 2022 Halloween Ends, or 23 Halloween Ends, one of those numbers. This is a very interesting sequel because it's a la uh, continues the story from the same exact night. So it's just the next minute kind of a thing, right? Which I love because that's what they did in the first and second, respectively, 78 and then 81 films. Um, I did not like 2018 because of certain things, and we talked about why certain moments were like trying to pass a joke didn't make sense, and then the pacing was wrong. It was just so slow. I've never seen Halloween Kills, and I decided to see the extended cut of it. And you might be asking yourself, why would you do that to yourself? Because I have a problem with long films in regards to pacing. If the pacing does not make sense, why keep the film so long? But this film never dragged. The pacing was incredible. The continuation of the same night, Halloween 2018 in Haddonfield, Illinois, it made so much sense. It makes so much sense than having the mob mentality coming together, led by Tommy Doyle, who is played by Anthony Michael Hall, which was cool seeing him as an older Tommy Doyle. Um, Chanting "Evil dies tonight, evil dies tonight." There's mobs through the streets, there's mobs through the bars, there's mobs through the hospital. And this is the aftermath. So the firefighters go to, extinguish the flames at Laurie Strode's compound. And Michael, of course, survives the flames, as he always does. Laurie, Karen, and Allison then go to the hospital, and it's aftermath. It's like, all right, well, he's going to come after Laurie, so everybody has to be on lookout and go to the hospital and stuff like that. But Frank, the police officer, who was a deputy back in 78 during the original killings, played by Michael Mann. Michael Mann? It's Michael Mann. So that was neat having those flashbacks to 78 Halloween aftermath for this timeline, because 78 Halloween aftermath we actually see in the second film, Halloween 2, but this is a different timeline. So this is what happens next. So he's still killing people after he killed the teenagers. He's still, terrorizing the neighborhood, but he winds up going back to his house. He goes back to his house. He goes back to the Myers house. And so then what happens when this deputy inadvertently kills his partner and not Michael, given the moment, and then prevents Dr. Loomis from shooting him in the street to end the evil. And then that's how Michael gets into that facility for, the 40 years that he's been there. So it's very interesting seeing a new backstory, a new prequel kind of a thing in regards to why this Michael has been locked up for all this time, how that happened, why he wasn't just extinguished at that moment. I appreciated the new backstory. So it was neat. It was a backstory for this particular timeline. It made sense. Going then for this plot, Allison and her cheating boyfriend Cameron, who she forgives for some reason, they go on a hunt with his dad, who happened to be one of the kids that Michael terrorized but didn't kill back in 78. And then it's a matter of going back to the house, getting back to the house. So it's revealed that Michael just wants to go to his house, and he's going to kill anybody who gets in the way, of course. That it's not specifically targeted for Laurie in this timeline. In other timelines, it's specifically targeted for Laurie, but in this timeline, it's not. It's different. It's interesting. It's a new perspective. I appreciate the new perspective. I liked how fast the pace the story was. I enjoyed the character development throughout. I enjoyed the legacy characters coming back as well. The girl, the woman who, I don't know her name, but she played the younger girl in the very first film who was being babysat with Tommy, and she was actually back for this. So that was pretty cool. I mean, the nurse from the original film, that was pretty cool. So it was neat seeing these things come about. And of course, the final battles at the end, the mob gets him, but do they get him? And of course, he uses that chaos, that pain, as his energy source, and then wreaks havoc and chaos and kills everyone, of course, as he does. Hence the title, Kills, Halloween Kills. Very well done. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but from a story perspective, it made sense. The pacing made sense. I enjoyed having a logical continuation. of then what happens next. So now that Karen is no longer with us, now that Allison survived the attack, now that Lori is off to get him with a bloody butcher knife, what happens next? How does this end? So I'm very curious how this ends. No pun intended with Halloween ends, but of course there's going to be other, Halloween projects moving forward, maybe a new timeline. Who knows? But my thing with new timelines, my thing with continuing a story, make it make sense. Don't make it illogical. Make it logical. That's all I ask. I'm a simple person with simple requests. If you're going to make a sequel to something for the last 40 some odd years of it being around, please, 50 some odd years of it being around, please, wait a minute, timeline of events, 2018, let's just do some quick math on the fingers because the brain is not doing math in the head. 78 is the original, right? 88, 98, 08, and then we have 18. So 40 years later. Okay, so right now we're at what, 45-ish years later? So what happens in 2028 when we're at the 50th anniversary? Are we going to get another timeline of events? Potentially. We'll see. I still really want a prequel. I really want a prequel series of who had the Curse of Thorn, which was revealed in the 6th film, Curse of Michael Myers. I want to see a prequel series, who had the Curse of Thorn before Michael got the curse in 63, when he killed his sister. I want to know who had the Curse of Thorn before that. I want to go back to the original timeline, and I want a prequel to that. That's what I'm curious about. That is the anthology that they tried to do with the 3rd film, which didn't work. That's what I want to see. Speaking of the 3rd film, they used the masks. They had Trick or Treat Studios made masks specifically for this project, with the Silver Shamrock logo on the back, but it was of the skull, the pumpkin, and the witch, and 3 kids were wearing them throughout this project in the middle of the movie, and it's just a nod to that. So it was pretty neat little Easter egg. So it's not a matter of the Silver Shamrock Company. Well, who knows, actually. The Silver Shamrock Company could be, in fact, now part of this cinematic universe, even though it had nothing to do with the 3rd film being related to the 1st film, because in the 3rd film, they're watching the 1st film on TV. Many ways how to go about this in regards to a theory and conversation, but I thought it was a neat little Easter egg. We'll leave it at that. Halloween Kills 2021, very well done. On to the next review. Mahalo.